How about that? Isn't that a great song? Little upbeat for my taste. And I don't know if I like being on camera while it plays, but this is the first episode, and we're going to work out all the kinks. This is the David Angelo Show, inaugural episode. The show that's going to change everything. You know what? Whatever. I mean, just make some kind of dent is the idea. I've been doing a pretty regular, by that I mean once every 18 months, show about economics mostly, which was received well, I appreciate. But it was a lot of work, and I don't know what the point of it was anymore. I think we have a different time now. We're in a different time and space where what matters is a little bit different. I think there's a huge gap in the marketplace for someone to come in who's sober and rational and just commenting on reality. I know that sounds like not all that interesting, but I assure you, it is kind of a revolutionary idea in the political media, and hopefully that's where we will make an impact. Because you have your media for your left-wing people, you have your media for your right-wing people, but that 85% of us caught in the middle, we don't really have anything. And I think it's causing a lot of discomfort, a lot of anxiety in that group because we're looking around and we're saying, is everyone crazy? And for the most part, I think on television, the answer is yes. But in reality, the answer is probably no. But there's nobody out there. I'm looking, I'm like, where is this person or any outlet that's not right wing kind of thing where there's, eagles flying in and they're selling supplements and all that kind of thing. And the left wing where it's just, I don't even know what they're doing anymore. And by left wing, I mean literally everything that isn't Fox News on television and every newspaper. It's just gotten a little out of hand. And there's nothing for just ordinary people. And, I guess I'm the guy who's, as usual, I have to step up. I have to do everything myself. But there is a precedence for this. I mean, I am, as you guys know, if you follow me closely, I am kind of the America's greatest journalist. I want to take you back. Here's my qualifications. You may be thinking, why you? Why do we want to hear about journalism from you? Okay, here's the thing. This is a tweet I sent. This is not the date on this tweet. As far as I'm concerned, every Pulitzer Prize needs to go to me. Possibility, Dems invented the Russia thing as a pretext for FISA, and the news has just been carrying water for them. This is from March 4th, 2017. Now, the biggest news story of the last 30 years has been Russian collusion, which everyone was like, oh, we had to investigate. Here's just little old me, random person, somehow decoding the entire thing at the very beginning of it. And you may think, well, that's crazy. How'd you do that? Are you a Nostradamus? Or no, I'm literally just not like a shill who's paid to lie. And that's the key to this whole thing. It's like if you're just a basic, honest person, it's actually pretty easy to understand what's going on. The difficulty is you're in a ocean of everyone lying all the time. So, as an example, I compiled, and I keep a list of everything. Every kind of, it's hard to track all the media's lies. That's truly a full-time job, and it becomes hard to catalog it, especially. But I got a couple things here. So, let me see. To me, the biggest story for a lot of ways is this Russian collusion thing. Now, if you are a fan of the channel, you'll know that I proved conclusively that the Democrats knew they were lying about this when they created it, and the media knew it was fake when they started reporting it. I made a video about it. It's called Brain Attack. It's on this channel. It's currently sitting with about 7,000 views. You would think maybe the biggest, debunking the biggest news story of the 21st century would get a little more traction than that. But hey, you know what? Onward, onward. And if you want more information on this story, I think go look at that. You'll see the media knew they were lying from the very beginning. And the whole thing was dishonest. It was all to trick the public, manipulation, etc. And it's not a conspiracy theory. I prove it. I mean, it's in the video. You can watch it. I don't want to rehash it too much here. But this just gives you a kind of a taste of what the media was for a long time in this country. When Trump was president, it was here's 18 reasons Trump could be a Russian asset. That was kind of this. The Washington Post, you'll notice the subheadline, Democracy Dies in Darkness, as if they are illuminating anything here. Mitch McConnell is a Russian asset. This was sort of the theme. It has come to this. Ted Cruz is Putin's stooge. And more broadly, the entire Republican Party is a Russian asset. I mean, this is what they would this was the reporting. You all remember this. You may think, this is old, but I like using old examples because you're not emotionally involved. We can look at these with some objectivity. Let's look back at the past, at the media institutions that we're relying on, and what value that they provide. So this was basically every time anything happened, they would say, this guy's a Russian. And then hilariously, Trump makes unfounded claim the Washington Post is a Russian asset. So you see, when it comes back the other way, that's when the fact checkers come out. They put their little glasses on. They get very self-righteous. And I think that is a good example of basically the entirety of reporting for many years. And then there was bias, of course. Let me see here's an example, okay? This was during the political conventions in 2020, okay? Melania Trump wore a white outfit. The headline, Philadelphia Inquirer, Melania Trump's RNC fashion, a scary statement, okay? And you'll notice it's, to many, the outfit could be another reminder that in the GOP, white is always right. This is Elizabeth Wellington. 9 days later, the same woman, Elizabeth Wellington, writes, DNC fashion, Hillary Clinton looked presidential in an all-white pantsuit. So when the Melania one came out, we had to be, she's wearing white. This is white supremacy. It reminds everyone about anti-immigrant, all this kind of thing. Miss Wellington couldn't have known what Hillary was going to wear. Unfortunately, they probably weren't as coordinated, the press and the DNC, as they would have liked to have been at that point. So when Hillary comes out, we have to do this thing. Hillary loves monochromatic looks. She's worn nearly every color of the rainbow, but on Wednesday night, she's stunned in a cobalt blue two-piece number, but it's rare we see her in all white. White is a hue that's both soft and strong, but it was appropriate. It's about, she's telling us she's arrived. This is surreal, a dream come true. Most importantly, Clinton's white suit told America loud and clear that she's joyfully accepted the opportunity to run for president of the United States of America. This is the same woman 9 days apart. I mean, this is the shamelessness of what we're dealing with. Again, I like to use old examples. I know that they are not relevant, but that's why they're important. I don't want anyone getting in this, that. I don't want to debate on any kind of current event thing, okay? So that's... I should actually let me go back to this. By the way, I'm doing all of the video work myself. As you can imagine, there's no help here. Same thing, New York Times. Tulsi Gabbard's white pantsuit isn't winning. Now, this is in 2019. The Democratic presidential candidate has made white the staple of a debate night appearance. It leaves a chill. This is Vanessa Friedman. It leaves a chill, this white look. New York Times, by choosing a white suit, remember, this is Hillary Clinton at her convention 3 years earlier. White was great. White was fantastic. And look, who wrote that article? Vanessa Friedman. So again, here's the New York Times. Why Hillary wore white. Did she look presidential? Look how great it is. It's a reference to the official colors of the National Women's Party and the suffragist movement. This is Vanessa Friedman. 3 years later, white it leaves a chill. Okay. Just so you guys have kind of an understanding of what we are dealing with and the just absolute shamelessness of it. Another example, and again, the point here, I'm showing these examples, I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page while we embark on this journey together, that we understand that the media is absolutely useless. They're trash. So here is the Washington Post again. This was a story from 2018. Trump says crime in Germany is way up. German statistics show the opposite. So, this familiar refrain about crime being up, which you're not allowed to talk about. Now, in The Hill, same story, the same news cycle. Trump falsely claims Germany has migrant-driven crime wave. So now we're getting a little political into the crime. And of course, he's wrong. We have to correct these lies, these malicious lies. ABC News, again, now we're going mainstream. Everyone likes to talk about MSNBC, CNN as very left wing. This is ABC News. Trump digs in on false claim that crime wave on rise in Germany due to migrants. Same news cycle, 2018, July 2018. Now, January 2018, Reuters put out an article, Violent Crime Rises in Germany and is attributed to refugees. This is from Reuters. I mean, this is like the big wire service, right? So it's possible, and I will not. Here's another thing you're not going to hear me do much. I'm not going to defend Donald Trump. I'm not going to I'm not campaigning for him. I'm not on his team. I have a lot of issues with Donald Trump. The biggest being the one I always think about is the PPP loan thing, where he just gave trillions of dollars to every con artist on the planet. I've had an issue with that for a long time. So you're not going to get a lot of pro-Trump stuff out of me. And I don't want to defend Trump, but I think it is possible that maybe Trump saw an article in one of the biggest news publications on the planet, and then when he repeats the claim, suddenly it's false. It's this goes into the whole thing about how he's wrong, he lies. It doesn't matter. The whole thing, we're living in a nihilist society, like everything is nonsense. Let's see if I have any more stuff that's fun. Let's see. Okay, this one's pretty fun. Trump, Washington Post again. Trump calls on blacks to honor him with votes, then praises Confederate General Robert E. Lee. Well, that doesn't seem right. NBC News. Remember, this is the mainstream of the mainstream. It's not cable news. This is NBC News. Watch. Now, they have a video here. President Trump says Robert E. Lee was a great general during Ohio rally, calling the Confederate leader incredible. CNN. Trump praises Confederate soldier who was Robert E. Lee. So that's the news cycle. Again, it's, look at Trump, Confederacy, this is, we're making associations, we do all this stuff. A day or two later, correction, NBC News. An earlier tweet misidentified the general President Trump described as incredible at a rally in Ohio. It was General Ulysses S. Grant, not Robert E. Lee. An attached video clip lacked the full context for Trump's remarks. Here's the full clip. So I guess they had selectively edited a clip. I don't have the clip that they posted on the original tweet. But they obviously made a decision to when those edit points were going to be. They put out a thing where they can say, look at, he's saying Robert E. Lee is a great, incredible. He's incredible. And then I guess they got some flack that, they get caught eventually, and then they put out the correction. At which point, 5% of the people see the correction. but the emotional connection that the general public has made from the initial story is already set. So even if you come out with the correction, it's the same thing with the Russian collusion. To this day, people just kind of assume Trump with Russian collusion, even though that story imploded. And that's basically the method of everything. Is you say, let's just get this. We can manipulate people emotionally, and then when the facts come out and they are different, it's sort of irrelevant because the emotional pathways have been forged in the brain. It's just a form of psychological warfare, essentially. And then you have the way the media congratulates themselves. Trump showers supporters in an alternative reality. And that may be true. 3 theories on why Donald Trump's lies don't seem to faze him or his supporters. Again, this may be true, but like you have to understand this self-righteousness coming from these people who are all they do is lie is just kind of unsettling to me. And this is the discourse of the entire nation, is all these people lying, and then you have maybe some other people lying in different ways. I just want someone to be honest. I mean, I really am like not, maybe it's self-righteous of me to sound that way, but I don't think, I mean, you can see by this production, it's not like exactly like, we're not 5 stars here. We're doing our best, but it's clearly a passion project, what's going on. I'm not bought by big moneyed interests. I can barely, I'm switching between these 2 images, and I can barely do it. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with. We have these networks that are all so dishonest. At the extreme, you have something like MSNBC, which I've come to appreciate more and more recently. I kind of view them as like Baby Shark for elderly white liberal women. It's kind of like just something to put on for a few hours to distract them while the rest of us can get some work done. So I actually kind of appreciate MSNBC for that reason. I don't understand their business model. It's like their whole thing is they're appealing to people who pride themselves on not owning a television. And I think as a network, that might not be a good long-term strategy, but that's what they're doing. And good for them. And they work so hand in hand with the DNC. Whenever I'm interested in what the DNC is thinking, the Democratic National Committee, I just turn on MSNBC. It's like, what are they thinking over there in the back rooms at the DNC? You can just turn on that channel and they'll tell you. I mean, it's plain as day. But they're not the only offenders. It's kind of everybody, and you have Fox News, Breitbart, and then there's a steep fall off on the right wing side. There's very few outlets. Fox News being kind of the big one. And then it's a steep decline in credibility from there. I mean, you get to the point where, I mean, Newsmax, I don't even know what is going on with that. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And there's a tendency on the right to have a lot of, elevating con artists for brief periods of time, however long that lasts. They'll say what you want to hear, and then they'll start selling some products, some crypto, I don't know what it is. And then it invariably implodes. And that's kind of a nightmare. But the mainstream media itself, NBC News, ABC News, every newspaper, Washington Post, New York Times, Philadelphia Inquirer, we saw a lot of them. I mean, they just aren't providing anything of value to the public. And I'm not even saying I'm going to provide anything of value to the public, but I want to point out how bad they are. So there's nothing that's really doing that in a way that I think is steady and rational. I think a lot of people are doing it, but it's on Twitter, it's on social media, and I need something that's a little more digestible for the average person, because I can't send a tweet where it's from something white genocide 829 with their I can't send that to somebody. So it's a little crazy there. We need something that's mellow, I guess is the best thing I can put it. because it's an issue. I mean, this is a big deal. Here's the gist of it, folks. All communication at every level, the point of all communication is persuasion. It's to get you to think or to do something. That's true even with animals. Everything is about persuasion. And in a democracy where power comes from, votes from the people, the way to get power is to manipulate the public. So this is all part of the system that we're dealing with. And it's so dishonest, it's so corrupt, it's so unsustainable. This thing with Joe Biden now where they're like, okay, I guess his brain doesn't work. They're finally admitting. That's a big admission. And just a brief history of the major news stories of the last 20 years. It was like Iraq has WMD. Oh, whoops, no, it doesn't. Trump's a Russian agent. Oh, whoops, no, he's not. COVID came from a wet market in China. Oh, whoops, no, maybe it came from a lab. Joe Biden he's sharp as a tack. Oh, whoops, maybe he's not. I mean, this is kind of unacceptable, I think. If every major news story is wrong, we have to do something about that. And I'm pretty good at cataloging all this stuff. These are just, I very quickly grabbed some stills that I had saved on my computer. I have a lot. I can go through them all. Hopefully we get some views on this. The last video with brain attack, it could use some views as well. And let's just see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. We're responsible for the effort, not the results, okay? So with that, that's the first episode of the David Angelo Show. We're just kicking it off, just getting things in gear. It's going to be a lot more to come. Thank you.